Morning guys, Martin here again. Another tactics video today, how to use Genestealers. A lot of people have different opinions on these guys. I personally think they're absolutely fantastic. I'd never take a Tyranid army without them. Some people think they're a waste of points, some people think they got nerfed with the new codex because they lost what you would now refer to as the Umgar factor, and they haven't got the... They're just... Listen guys, things change, rules change, and you either adapt with them and therefore move forward and continue to enjoy it, or you find all the things that you don't like that have changed and you'll never either use your models again, or you just never move forward. They've changed, and it's as simple as that. I for one think they've got better with the introduction of 7th edition, and that's why I'm bringing them into this video. So, simple little model. You don't have to take a Broodlord with them, that's an option. I don't personally take one, because as good as they are, the points then start going against what I use them for. I take a unit of 10 of them. Don't give them toxin sacks, don't give them anything, just 10 standard Genestealers. Why do I take them? What makes me think they're so good? They're a relatively cheap unit with a massive amount of power. Enough power that people get scared by them. You have two options. You can either outflank the unit, which I personally don't do, because you never know whether they're going to come on, and then when they do come on, they can't do anything to turn they arrive. So I infiltrate mine. Infiltrate is one of the best things. Coming from a traditional White Scars player who scouts the hell out of his army, infiltrating is just such a good thing. You can stop enemy forces scouting against you, so you can use them for that. But more importantly, you can really mess up enemy plans. So you have an enemy who'll deploy right along his line of his tabletop up to his deployment line, whether it be a Tau gun line, whether it be a small Grey Knight force. However it operates, people very, very rarely, unless they're playing a whole army like Orcs or Nids, have enough models to cover their whole deployment zone. So I let them deploy, whether I'm going first or second, I let them deploy, and then these guys come onto the table, either 18 inches away in line of sight, or 12 inches away out of sight. Generally speaking, boards will have some sort of terrain that you could get line of sight blocked by, whether it be a solid wall in a building, like that, a solid wall in a room, I should say, or whatever it might be. And quite often what I'll do, especially if you're using the Dawn of War, the wide table option, you can generally see by the way an opponent deploys their army what their battle plan is. It's normally quite obvious, especially if you know your other codexes, then you know the strengths and weaknesses of them. So you see an Eldar army set up, and depending on what they put on the table, you know how they're gonna operate against you. Infiltrating units make people think differently about it. So I'd have a guy, let's get those Space Marines back over here on the sticks. So I'd have a guy who's got a unit of Space Marines camped up there, and I'm thinking, yeah, they're going to start progressing forward. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to infiltrate over there. Because if I infiltrate over there, they've now got to think. I can't charge turn 1, and granted I am only close combat, but it makes you... It's a distraction technique. It makes people think, do I take them out or do I leave them? On turn 1, especially if you're playing Maelstrom of War missions now, you infiltrate them straight onto one of the objectives. You might not get a card for that objective, but you just might. And you're holding them, you can run them in the first turn, and if your opponent doesn't deal with all 10 of them in the first turn, then on the second turn, you are almost guaranteed to be within charge range. Plus you've got fleet, and these little guys have got 3 attacks each on the charge, so that's 30 attacks if none of them die in that first turn. Rending on 6s, so you really are hurting people. Fine, you're only strength 4, but rending on 6s. You weapon skill 6, So the majority of things, you're hitting on 3s and they're needing 4s to hit you. And most importantly, you're initiative 6. So unless you charge through terrain, you are going first. There is very little that you would go up against that is higher than initiative 6, other than things like bloodthirsters and what have you in avatars. You don't waste these guys going into avatars. You tarp it them with your gaunts. That's as simple as you do with them. But these guys, they're just, if you get them into combat, they're worth every single point you paid for them. And if you don't get them into combat and people just shoot the hell out of them, then it's a unit that's not shooting at your gaunts that are coming across. Yes, they're more expensive than gaunts, but the sheer weight of dice of gaunts will win through with things. So a distraction tactic over there lets your gaunts get forward. If they don't bother with them because they think about the gaunts, then that's fine. And then if you deploy in your enemy's deployment zone as well, if they're still there come turn 5, there's your line breaker as well. You haven't got to charge things across the table, because typically what will happen is you get both armies come together into the middle, and then you've still got to try and break one out. These guys might just be broken out, and for that reason, I think they're a fantastic unit for not a lot of points. I say I don't give them any upgrades, just take them as standard, and that's how I run them. So that's my tactics for Genestealers. Infiltrate them, if possible, infiltrate them into an enemy deployment zone. If you can look at the rear of a tank, absolutely fantastic. If you can get into that on your second turn, then you're just going to glance the hell with random hits. When you've got 30 hits, 30 attacks, you're going to roll 3s to hit. Half of them, so you should be looking at an average of 15 hits. And out of 15 hits, you only need 3 6s, and then you've just destroyed that rhino because you've glanced the hell out of it, or the predator or whatever. Can't hit land raiders, obviously, but they're great. Or throw them in. I've killed Wraith Knights with these guys. You charge in, you're at initiative 6. The Wraith Knight doesn't even get it to have a turn. 30 attacks, hitting on 3s because his weapon skill is only 5, 4 even possibly, and then Rendon on 6s. And you just literally, because Rendon's AP2, they're only getting that scatter shield save, and they won't make that many of them. But anyway, that's Genestealers. I'm obviously rambling a bit now. Tell me what you think, guys, and any suggestions for what you would like as your next unit. This obviously is still part of Mike's Tyranid challenge for July, which is the Feast Fest. I'll put another link into the description for it. And also let me know what you think about the new intro. I've messed around with that. I'm no computer expert, so it's not like a professional job, but I'm quite happy with it. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, boys.